My name is Arlo, and I use they, them pronouns. This video is where I'm going to be discussing my artifact for the Cultural Artifact Project. My artifact today is something that represents my being a member of multiple communities, actually. I have two different artifacts, and they kind of cross together because I have a multicultural identity. I'm not only queer, I'm also transgender, which are both part of the greater LGBTQ umbrella. That is part of being, a sexual gender minority. Oftentimes they do go hand in hand. So what I have brought today are some medications, which is maybe not what you might think is first as far as an LGBT cultural artifact. But the reason that I brought these today is because these hold a long attachment to my culture's history. This right here is PrEP. This is a medication that when taken makes it so that the person cannot contract HIV, which is a culmination of decades of suffering that my community has gone through during the AIDS crisis, happening through the 80s, 90s, and even into today. That is a huge part of our social history. There's also a political history involved with PrEP because it was specifically part of political agendas at the time, historically, to use the AIDS crisis as a way to literally just eradicate gay people. There was massive amounts of legislative homophobia. Legislative homophobia can be found even today. Social homophobia can be found even today when it comes to medical safety of the LGBT community. If you think recently about the monkeypox pandemic that has been starting and about how access to vaccines has been mostly targeted towards gay men and how that has stigmatized the monkeypox disease generally. So, I also have testosterone. This is part of my trans identity. I use this to mitigate my gender dysphoria, which is something that I struggle with and many transgender people struggle with. It is part of our values to be able to express ourselves completely. And part of that means being able to have the medical support necessary to achieve wholeness with our bodies and with ourselves. I really appreciate these medications, and I appreciate the part of the LGBT legacy that they are. They show a long history of determination, autonomy, individuality, striving through difficulty. There's just so many things that I feel proud about when I take these medications. I know that I've lost generations of elders in the LGBTQ community because of HIV. And when I take this medication, I feel like I am being part of a massive cultural change and a massive cultural movement that's important to me. And when I take my testosterone, I feel like I am expressing my truest self and I'm getting to be my fullest self. And that connects me very deeply to the values of my identity as a trans person. So while these medications are maybe not the stereotype you might think, they're not a rainbow flag or, interlocking estrogen symbols, they are still very much representative of my community and culture.